Ladies and gentlemen, in wake of Bitcoin dominance breaking it to the upside above a resistance line stemming backwards from 2020 and Ethereum BTC plummeting to the downside from a support line that has been on and off holding for the last 2 or 3 years, we need to discuss altcoins in relation to Bitcoin and Ethereum in relation to Bitcoin, and ultimately what is the optimal portfolio structure right now? What should you be buying right now? What should you be holding right now? And reinforcing previous opinions that I've stated on the altcoin market as a whole. Now, full transparency before we even get into it, I have been saying continuously that next is going to be an altcoin season. We're going to be seeing an altcoin season on the next move. The reason we haven't seen the start of that altcoin season is because the next move hasn't begun. We haven't broke above the macro range, which I decided we needed to break above in order to see that altcoin season. So don't take this as a flip-flop. This is merely inter-range price action. When we break the high on the total 3 cryptocurrency market cap, when we break the high on Bitcoin, I expect that altcoin season to start spiraling into effect. But right now, we just have not done that yet. And so we are still currently in a Bitcoin season, which is reflected in our portfolio. We need to discuss the recent developments and how that changes or how that reinforces those points. We're also going to look into just Bitcoin price action on the medium-term scale, Ethereum price action, and also we'll look into the weekly chart on Bitcoin, which I see is very, very important right now. So a few topics, but we can pretty much wrap this up nicely within 10 minutes, I assume. So let's try to do that. Guys, before we get into it though, the BingX and Bitunix exchanges, these are global non-KYC exchanges. They have both never been hacked before, and they're both very low in trading fees. And you can get an even lower trading fee on these exchanges with my referral link down below. It cuts your trading fees off by 15%. Use my referral link to sign up and you'll get a 15% trading fee discount on every single buy and sell you ever make on these exchanges. So go ahead and do that. There's also a 5,500 USDT reward and 4,000 USDT reward on BingX. If you're interested, you can use my links down below and potentially get those as well. Right, so let's get into the content. Okay, let's start out by looking into the weekly chart on Bitcoin. Just to give you a bit of a more longer time frame view of Bitcoin right now and what I think needs to happen in this weekly candle close. We've got a weekly candle close in 1 day and 19 hours. And right now, the reason why I see this weekly candle close is so important is because it dipped into the key indicators, right? The key weekly chart indicators being the bull market support band and the pi cycle sentinel lines. These indicators, of course, are very distinctive on the Bitcoin macro charts. If you scroll back to previous bull markets and previous bear markets, you can see them holding pretty much the entire way up in 2021 and the exact entire way up in 2016, 2017, right? These are very important levels. And the fact that we dipped into those levels on this weekly candle, found them for support and are now hovering above them is great news. We just need to see the close actually occur above them, and then we're in a very good position on the weekly chart. We also need to see a close above those levels, because closing above those levels will not only lead to a confirmation of holding those levels for support, but it also will lead to a confirmed breakout on the weekly chart RSI, a weekly chart RSI resistance that stems back from March. So 4 months for resistance would break to the upside if we get a good close on the weekly. Where do I want to be seeing the weekly candle close above? I personally want to be seeing it close above 67.5K. because 67.5K is this rectangle right here, which I'm just trying to circle. All right, that's the mid-range level. The top of that rectangle is 67.5K, and we've just managed to get above that on the most recent daily candle close. In getting above that, we also managed to break above this yellow bullish pennant formation, and we've also managed to flip it for support. So that's great news. And if we zoom back on the 4-hourly chart, we can see that red level, that mid-range level, acting as very strong support and resistance at multiple periods of time over the last few months. In fact, now that it is support, we can go ahead and do the honors of making it green, which represents support, rather than red, which represents resistance, of course. Flipping back to the daily chart, we can also see that the bottom was found in that 63.8K region as expected when we were back up here at 68K pre-correction. And not only did we bottom out on that pennant formation and that horizontal support zone, we also managed to bottom out on the 200-day moving average, which I've just brought up on the screen. So that was great to see as well. Now, interestingly, and this is where we can get into the altcoins versus Bitcoin argument, right? Because of course, Ethereum is the leader of the altcoin market. Interestingly, here we've got Bitcoin breaking above its mid-range level, but Ethereum failing to do so. In fact, Ethereum is not only not broken above its mid-range level, it's rejected from it. So we look at the Ethereum daily candle. It dipped into the support zones, similar to Bitcoin support zones, which I'm going to circle here, right, at 62 to 63K. The relative levels were dipped into, and unlike Bitcoin, it failed to get back above the critical resistance. In fact, it got a daily candle close right on top of that critical resistance, which is now acting as a very strong rejection zone. So we kind of need to get upwards here on Ethereum. You can see we did a similar thing back here, where I'm circling on two separate occasions, and both of them led to reversals on a medium-term basis. So hopefully Ethereum's chart is not foreshadowing a drop downwards on Bitcoin. We'll find out at the weekly candle close. This is why I'm focusing on the weekly candle, because the weekly candle is going to give us the validation, right? If we end up getting dragged down by Ethereum here, then the weekly candle is not going to close well, and then we can decide based on a more longer term candle rather than focusing on the daily chart. Of a shorter term charts, we can look at the weekly chart, which is historically very significant, right? But yeah, Ethereum is a little bit concerning here, and the fact that Ethereum has failed to gather that much momentum has reflected in Ethereum versus Bitcoin. So the Ethereum BTC chart, right? So this is a chart measuring the strength of Ethereum versus the strength of Bitcoin. It's resulted in this chart getting dragged downwards below its red support zone. And it's plummeting right now to the bottom of its longer term triangular formation. Now, I believe that this triangle formation should hold. I think we should find this level of support. And so I think for the most part, the underperformance of Ethereum in relation to Bitcoin is over for the most part. But as of right now, we still have a little bit more room to move to the downside. And the fact that Bitcoin has outperformed Ethereum in this last couple of days has really materialized into not only Ethereum BTC breaking down quite massively, but also Bitcoin dominance breaking upwards from a very critical resistance zone, right? We have this channel formation on Bitcoin dominance going into the descending resistance line, and that descending resistance line breaking to the upside here upon the last few days of price action. So Bitcoin dominance upon the the markets moved to the upside, of course, and Bitcoin dominance has moved to the upside 2%. So money has flowed into Bitcoin here, not into altcoins or Ethereum. Bitcoin has seen the best generalized returns. It's outperformed the market on a generalized scale over the last week or so. And in fact, it's been outperforming the market on a generalized scale since basically September 2022, right? Since the bottom of the bear market. So you would have been favored over the last 2 years, basically, to be holding more Bitcoin than altcoins. And that's exactly what I've reflected on this YouTube channel. I've said the entire time, your portfolio should be in Bitcoin until there is confirmation of that altcoin season. And I have not once said on this YouTube channel that the altcoin season has confirmed to have begun. What I have said is that the altcoin season will be next. And I still stand by that belief. We look at the 5-step pattern on the altcoin market cap chart, which is what we're on right now. And you can see, let's just go back and see what it is. Step 1, bottoming out. Step 2, first pump to bear market resistance. Step 3, first consolidation. Step 4, final consolidation. Step 5 is the blast off to all-time highs. And upon the start of step 5 is the altcoin season. Okay, if you look at Bitcoin dominance and you look at when step 4 ended, it was January 2021. In January 2021, that's the exact moment we saw Bitcoin dominance tank to the downside. Okay, so altcoin season begins at the end of step 4, at the start of step 5. We are still on step 4. It has lasted for a long period of time, much longer than we expected, but we are still on step 4. We have not broken the highs, and so we have not started the parabolic move. We have not started the altcoin season. There's no indication, there's no real reason for us to believe altcoin season would have begun by now. Like, we're not surprised by that. Step 4 is still in play. And if we're following this macro pattern, which is what I have been following on the altcoin market, it's not shocking at all. This is a very expected scenario. So for everyone who's rushing into altcoins right now, I ask you to have some patience, right? I was in altcoins back here before the drop. I sold a lot of altcoins upon that drop occurring. I didn't feel that it was safe to hold altcoins. I shifted a lot into stablecoins and Bitcoin. And then when I got back into a secure position in the market, I deployed a lot of capital into Bitcoins. Some into altcoins, yes. In altcoins, in fact, we're in optimal positions. But on a generalized scale, I'm not massively holding alts right now. I don't feel a need to. I'm not rushed to. Altcoins are at resistance right now. We look at this red horizontal line very clearly at weekly chart resistance. We're also at resistance from bull market support band, very clearly at bull market support band resistance. You can see it right there, the rejection from that horizontal level as well as the bull market support band. It's just not really a pressing situation for me to be rushing into altcoins here, because I have evidence now, clear evidence that the altcoin season is not only not beginning, like previously a couple of weeks ago, we were just hovering within a structure. We had not broken down yet. So the altcoin season was not confirmed yet. But now I actually see the opposite. I see evidence that Bitcoin season is clearly continuing, right? We've broken out of that structure to the upside. So if you're not in altcoins yet, I'm not going to tell you what to do. I can't, right? This isn't financial advice, but I'm going to say this. If I was in your boots, I would not be too concerned about not being in altcoins right now. Just wait, right? If altcoin season is going to happen, if altcoin season is going to happen, it's going to last a lot longer than 2 weeks, right? There's going to be no rush, is what I'm saying. You're going to see clear evidence that this chart is going to be breaking down and you will have time to react. It's not going to be this frantic rush to get in altcoins, right? That will come in altcoin euphoria, like during the altcoin season. But for you personally as an investor, you want to be positioned where the macro structures permit you to be positioned, okay? Where they tell you to be positioned. Just put your bucket where it is raining, not where it is dry and it's summertime, right? And right now, it's unfortunately just not raining for altcoins. Doesn't mean altcoins aren't moving up. They are. They're just being outperformed by Bitcoin. And so holding them is a more high risk scenario. It's not really what the macro structures indicate you should be doing. Exact same story on Ethereum, right? Ethereum, just like we have the 5-step pattern on the total 3, we have the 8-step pattern on Ethereum, and Ethereum's still stuck on step 7. So like, here's what I'll suggest to you. When these structures break upwards, when we see the all-time highs break on total 3, the all-time highs break on Bitcoin, get in altcoins then. You know, I'm not saying hold 0 altcoins. I'm just saying you have to be very careful about what altcoins you pick when the macro environment is not favoring altcoin investments. So I'm not saying don't hold any. I'm just saying be very careful about the ones you're picking here because we aren't in an altcoin season yet. We're still in a Bitcoin season. So any altcoins you buy are going to be running against headwinds for that reason. Just so you know, that's where I stand on altcoins right now. It is quite interesting to see these breakouts. But I do expect still that when this parabolic market starts to really kick in, when we do break these highs, if we do break these highs, I think it's likely, it's not certain, but if we do break these highs, yeah, I do think it will occur. It just hasn't happened yet. And that's not a flip-flop at all. That's literally a actual just repetition of my prior opinions I've said. The only difference now is that Bitcoin dominance is actively breaking upwards instead of consolidating like it was before, which is interesting to see, but I'm not totally surprised by that. So guys, with that said, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Go ahead and check out, we just posted on our second YouTube channel here, my first podcast episode, A Lesson from the Trenches, War, Progress, and Human Goals, looking into World War I, World War II, the psychological lesson we can harvest from it. It's very interesting, I think at least. It's just a little hobby I've got going. I'm not really taking it too seriously. I'm not really sure where I'm going to take the channel, but if you're interested in checking it out, I really appreciate you just jumping in there, giving it a watch, liking, chucking a comment if you want to. That would really be, appreciated. Trying to get some traction over there. So check it out if you're interested. If you're not, that's fine. Again, BingX, BitGet, sorry, not BitGet, BingX, Bitunix. I'm stuck in the past here. We're saying BitGet there. BingX and Bitunix for 2 exchanges, 15% trading fee discount with my links below. We've also got the Crypto Academy. If you want to learn how to trade, this is where you can do it. It's on sale right now. It's a course, right? We're teaching people how to trade in a university style format. We've got videos, slide, PowerPoint presentation, charts. We've got a trading diary. We've got worksheets, right? Everything you need to learn how to trade in different formats, targeting different types of learners. It's all there. So check out the website if you're interested. And then finally, we've got our VIP group. We post 4 trading plans per week. And with those trading plans, we've actually marked what the results are on a publicly viewable PDF document. So you can see the win-loss ratio. You can see every trade we've ever taken. It's all there on that PDF for free for you to view in a transparent format. So I don't hide anything there. If you want those trading plans, those trading signals, and you also want access to a group chat, we have a group chat there as well. You can discuss the market 24/7. You can check out the VIP group on Telegram. Guys, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next video. Cheers.